Hey guys, in this video we're going over what I learned in my 20s about budgeting. I know, super interesting, but it is important. These recent videos are kind of like a diary, a journal for my kids when they get older, if they decide they care about what I thought, what I learned along the way. I love you guys. And if you're not my kids, then I guess you're alright too. I want to keep it simple and straight to the point, so I got 10 things to talk about. Number 1. Don't get a cat. Number 1, understand that it's easy in your 20s because you don't have many expenses in your 20s. I actually didn't create a solid budget until like this year, and I'm 32. So I think it's best to start out when you have those lower expenses. You only have like your car insurance, your phone, internet, simple stuff. You don't have mortgage or rent or anything like that yet. So when you solidify it in the beginning, as you get more expenses, like in your later 20s, and then you eventually start a family, and then you have all these different expenses, you don't want it getting away from you. Because that's what I learned once, family is kind of started, and I'm like, what's going on with finances right now? So it's better to get into a routine earlier on, so then as your life continues, you just evolve easily. Number 2, automate as much as possible, and this could be for simple payments like a car or whatever, but also like automatic transfers for like savings or for investments or retirement. Even through just budgeting as a whole, I have a whole spreadsheet. It kind of sucks to set it up, but once you do, it's much easier to just maintain it and update along the way. You can't automate everything because, there are certain like groceries or utilities, they kind of go up and down every single month, but there is a lot that you can automate. Number 3 is track everything as soon as you buy it, and you could do it mobily. Originally how I set it up, I just had it on my laptop on a Google Sheets, and I'm like, at the end of every month I'm going to sit down on my laptop and just update everything. The problem is you don't always have the time to sit down, and then half the time you don't even realize what you're updating, and you kind of have to go through credit card statements to see what payment is for what. So now if I go to like the grocery store or a restaurant, once you get back into the car or once you get home, you just take the receipt, pull out your phone, put it in. It takes like 5 to 10 seconds. Number 4 is review your budget monthly. Like we mentioned before, there are a lot of fixed things that don't really change, but you have other things that do, whether it's groceries, whether it's utilities, like, oh, we're having a little bit more energy costs this month, or an unexpected expense comes in. Or seasonally, if it's hotter out, you'll use more AC. If it's colder out, you'll use more gas and heating. I worked at a handful of different companies, whether it's looking at mutual funds, like looking at millions of dollars and how they handle that, or big banks with billions of dollars. Coda, do you mind? Thank you. You have to budget for dogs too. I'm talking to you. But the reporting that these big companies have, they do it every single month. And if you, not everyone's going to get to billionaire status, but if you want to have that organization, that's why they're successful, because they have everything organized and planned out. Number 5 is sit down with your partner and review where every single dollar goes. And if you don't have a partner, just do this on your own, is just really assign where all your dollars go. I'm talking to my kids now. I sat down with your mother and we discussed like, hey, this is how much we're making. How should we split this up for groceries, for online Amazon purchases, miscellaneous, restaurants? And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, because one person can think one way about, their finances. The other person thinks completely different. They never discuss that, so that they're not on the same page. It makes me less stressed because we bucketed out everything we're planning, and it helps her out because she knows how much we can spend per bucket. Number 6 is budget in your savings and investments. If you're going to listen to Warren Buffett, which you should, he says you shouldn't save what's left over from spending. You should spend what's left over from saving. So literally in our budget, there's an expense for us saving, or an expense for our retirement. Like, hey, like we just maxed out our Roth IRA, which is whatever it is, $500 a month. And it's like, hey, this is always going to be there. And that's taking out of like what we have left over. Or like savings, we have an automatic transfer of whatever, $100 a month. That's automatically being transferred. That's an expense. So you're forcing yourself to save and invest. I just did a similar video going over what I learned in my 20s, investing and retirement, and wish I learned it a little bit sooner. If you're interested, you could check that out. Number 7 is plan out extra payments. And extra payments can be, there are certain months where there's like an extra week, so you might get an extra paycheck. Or maybe like a rollover from prior months. Or if you have like any bonuses, any taxes you get back. In our spreadsheet, we put in like how much we end up getting from this little extra thing, and then we break it out. How do we want to split this up? Whether some of it's going to savings, some of it's going to pay off some debts, some of it's being saved for baby coming up, which is due in a few months. Or like a car you're saving up for. Another reason why you have to kind of review it monthly, that it's not like a set it, forget it, every single month is the same, because it's not. There are a couple times where you're getting extra. Or the opposite, there could be emergencies and you're getting less than expected. And if you have a side income, you could even throw that into your income, whether you want to handle that separately or together, but that could be bonus income too. Number 8, I think, is important. Try to stress the buckets. So for example, if you have like groceries, let's say, hey, we're going to try to spend $120 a week. Let's try to do that. If it seems kind of challenging to do, it should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, we normally spend like $120, so let's just put $150 or $200 just to make sure. You really shouldn't try to spend more than you should. Now, if it just seems to be impossible, then yeah, obviously put a little bit extra into the bucket. Or like restaurants, really try to limit those buckets. Which kind of leads us to number 9 is don't spend extra just because you can. So going back to the bucket idea of, let's say you have, I don't know, $250 a month for restaurants. And let's say, it's kind of coming to the last week, you spent $200 already, and you have $50 extra. And you're like, hey, we got $50 extra, let's go to the restaurant, and, we got that $50. That's kind of like spending just because you have it. Instead, you could use that $50 for either something else, or roll it over to the next month. That's something that we do a lot, actually. Whether we have, like, let's say a holiday is next month. We're like, hey, we're going to be spending a little bit more on groceries. Or like an expected expense is going to come up. It's like, we're going to roll it over to the next month, so we have extra for that. We kind of incorporate that into our spreadsheet, and it just works for both of us. And it just makes sense. It helps you kind of budget for those unexpected things that are coming up soon. Well, I guess holidays happen every year, so you got to do that. Number 10 thing that I learned is adjust it every large life change. Kind of simple, but don't let it get away from you because it is important. If you get a raise, so, you start making more money. Or if something happens, you start making less money. Or if expenses change, more taxes on your house, your expenses go up. Insurance changes. Get a new car. Anything in your budget really shifts, you should really redo your budget again. And it could be as simple as just adjusting one number in your spreadsheet and then you're done. Now, I'm sure there are a bunch of different apps out there that can help you out as well. For me, I just like spreadsheets. I'll give you a bonus tip, something that I just thought of. Because I look at forecasts for work and everything, so this is just how I think now. You have to look at your budget amount versus your actual amount. So like if you budget energy of $150, but you actually only use $100, there's a difference of that $50. So then you have to determine, all right, that $50, what are you going to use it for? Obviously, you could then use that for something else. Maybe in another category or bucket if you went over for whatever reason. This is kind of like a backup that kind of covers that. Or again, use this extra amount you didn't really know that you were going to have and then roll it over to the next month. I'm pretty sure those are kind of the main things that I learned about budgeting that I started way too late in life. And again, the earlier you start, the earlier you're able to like set up those automatic transfers for savings, investments, like even paying off debt. And I might do another video on that, is actually like what I learned with debt and paying that off in my 20s. So hopefully that helped you guys out. Heck, maybe might save some marriages. And I'll see you guys in the next one.